years ago that the cry against corruption has been on the lips of Liberians. This morning, I want to find out, do we first of all know what corruption is? Many people have various definitions for corruption. And I will not use the legal definition for corruption because I want to go home to my mother and my father in the villages, to the children on the streets, to the pimping boys and market women that may be listening today. Corruption has its roots in the Latin word corrupto. Corrupto means to ruin, to break, to spoil. Therefore, nothing that comes out of corruption can ever be good, whether for the perpetrators of corruption or for the victims of corruption. So, for the legal definition, we define corruption, the act that created the LACC, as the act of using your public office for personal gains. Let us look at why is it corruption has persisted in our country, irrespective of the small or big gains that we have made. And I ask you to be the judge. Let's look at our culture. Do we really understand corruption? Or is corruption a foreign phenomenon to us? We see that when there is a crisis in the village or somebody does something wrong, the elders of the village come together and we ask, y'all leave it, let that be so. When people do things that are wrong, we have the culture of impunity. And Mama did, that's why I showed the mirror that we are all a part of the problem of corruption because it is intertwined within our culture. When somebody does something wrong, is supposed to be fired, everybody comes together, oh, you know the man get wet, the man get children. And we're all dead. And we're all guilty because it's a part of our culture. Coming back to where we are as a people at this critical point in time, how do we push to address the culture of corruption? It has to be holistic. I know that the moment you talk about corruption and anti-corruption commission, the first question that everybody wants to ask, how many persons have you sent to jail? I share your frustration and I share your pain. But that is not the only thing that we have, the only tool that we have. It is a major tool, but we have other very critical tools such as prevention and education. So we at the Liberian Anti-Corruption Commission have realized that in order for this menace to stop, we have to go to the root cause. In any society, the family is the building block and the foundation of any society. So when the family is disrupted, the entire society feels the fallout. And in my personal opinion, as a result of the 14 years senseless war, our family structure has suffered greatly to the extent that in some places and many places, the family does not exist anymore. The family is not only a place where you have mother and children and father. It's a place where children are nurtured, children are taught, and children are loved. What are we teaching our children today? What examples do we have? Who are the role models in our society that stand up for integrity? What are you telling your children by the example that you live? Hence, our intervention with the school program, the anti-corruption school program, which we ran in 50 schools in Macerado County, going back to the very basics. For people who have listened to me before, I say that I do not stand here as an anti-corruption crusader because I work for the Liberian Anti-Corruption Commission, but to the contrary, because of my upbringing. At the early age of at least 4 years, my father taught me my family oath, and it said, We are the Hamiltons. We are noble and great. I never learned to lie. I never learned to steal. Therefore, before I lie or steal, I prefer to die. And this is my family oath. I did not understand anything that meant. All I enjoyed was when I was taken around to recite that oath. I got 10 cents, I got biscuits, I got candies, and I watched the bewilderment in the eyes of grown-ups. Little did I know that that would be the very foundation for my life to prepare me for where I am today. So I use this time to call out to our parents, to our teachers, our religious leaders, and to all of us to go back to the basics of a good, decent family. I'm not talking about rich, successful in that sense. I'm talking about families that have values. In the absence of that, my grandchildren will come another 50 years and sing the same songs that we are singing today. We all have to be accountable for the fight in corruption. We realize that there's a huge outcry against corruption, but when it hits close to us, then we don't like that fight anymore. We can't do that. Liberia has to be above all of our personal interests. I'm a Christian, and the Bible tells me that pray for the nation in which you find yourself, for if that nation prosper, you shall also prosper. I never heard that when an individual prospers, a nation prospers. So we need to rethink what we think about our country. The issue of nationalism and patriotism is not lip service. It is in the choices that we make in our daily works, in our daily life. Liberia first, every other thing second. At this time, I will briefly go over some of the programs that the LSCC has gone through our education and prevention division over the past year. We started first, kicked up with the market outreach in collaboration with the Pimpin Union and the Liberian Marketing Association. After that, Ebola hit, and we were very active in the Ebola Monitoring Resources Program. We should say that we were belated. However, we did participate because it was an emergency. We did not want to get in the way of the emergency, but we still play a part in there. Subsequently, we have ongoing market engagements where we go to the street corners, give out stickers, and talk to people, take the corruption fight to the ordinary men and women of this country. On the other hand, we have had several trainings with the Immigration Services, the regional officer for the Immigration Services. We have had training for the Ministry of Transportation, the entire ministry, including the minister, all her deputies and the staff. We have also conducted research in the water and education sectors. Additionally, we have continued to harness our partnership with the CSOs. In recent time, we held the workshop for the security sector, where we brought together security members for both the private and public sectors, which was a huge success. We are in the process of planning an engagement with the media. And also, we have on our program now integrity clubs in schools. You will see that in recent months, you see billboards all around the cities and other parts of the country. These are all efforts in ensuring that education and prevention is highlighted in the fight against corruption. There is a saying that prevention is better than cure. Quite recently, we have served as observers at a few very huge government procurement procedures where we sat as observers. And just our presence alone at any given place is of big essence. It has been proven over time that once a corrupt act has taken place, no matter where you are in the world, up to 85% 90% of the time, you do not retrieve what was stolen. But if you can prevent on the front end, then you save millions on the back end. Ladies and gentlemen, I do not want to take up any more of your time. We will definitely make an appeal to the ministry to have us invited over once more another time so that we will be able to delve more into what the Education and Prevention Division and the Liberian Anti-Corruption Commission does. Before I say, I want to recognize my staff. They are here with me. Those are the people who do the job, and we are under the supervisor. Can you please wave to our people? Thank you very much. God bless you, and God bless Liberia. I have, thank you. Yeah. Any questions? Yeah.
We'd like to thank Commissioner Abba Dolo, and we thank her for her presentation.